Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Victory Drive. Man, oh man, I tell you, it is starting to warm up out there, starting to get real nice, starting to feel very springy. And you know what that means? That means turkey season is upon us, either right now or in the very near future. In Iowa, I believe it just started up not too long ago. For first season. Second season is going to be coming in pretty soon too. And I'm getting ready because I'm going out third and fourth season here in Iowa. And I am so excited. I'm not only excited for the turkey hunt, but I'm excited for the warmer weather. I'm not super excited for the super hot weather that's going to be coming real soon as well. Because with that comes bugs and other bullshit that I just don't really love to deal with. I'm a warm-blooded creature, and when it gets really hot and muggy, I'm not a huge fan of that, but I'm going to enjoy this time while it lasts because this time is very short, and it's my favorite time of the year, weather-wise. So the weather is going to be great, looking real good. Forecast actually looks pretty gloomy. It's going to be rainy and shitty, so hopefully it shapes up before third and fourth season kickoff here in Iowa, but it is starting to warm up. It's starting to get really nice out there. The birds are going to be in trouble here real soon. So hopefully everyone out there, if your season already started and, hopefully you guys are starting to get after some turkeys and getting on that action. And, if you haven't yet and you're looking for some calls, then this is the podcast for you, I guess, because I have on Garret Babcock. And Garret Babcock, he is the owner and call maker at Find a Way Outdoors. It's his own company. He makes his own calls. He started out with diaphragm calls, and he started he's been making those for a few years now. But he just recently got into some pot calls. He's got some really, really cool looking pot calls. He made me a super sick Victory Drive pot call that I am very excited to get. Should be coming here real soon. He just sent it in the mail, and I'm going to be putting that to work this season. But he's got all sorts of different, wood options. I think it looks like on his website he's got cherry, ambrosia, purple heart. No, that's sold out. Walnut, some other, just all sorts of good zebra wood. Maybe that one looks sold out too. So I guess get him while you can because it looks like he's already selling out of certain woods. So make sure you get into findawayoutdoors.shop and check out some of his calls and get ready for the season. But Garret, he's a great guy. I had him on last year, right around the same time, and he's just a good old boy, doing what he loves, just really grinding it out, trying to do what he loves, and trying to make it in this tough, hard world out there. So he's a fun guy to talk to. Really, like I said, very passionate about what he does, and he has some pretty crazy stories between his car accident and everything else. So hopefully you guys enjoy this episode. I know I did. Garrett's always a fun one to get on and talk some turkey calls and that kind of stuff with. So yeah, hope you guys enjoy the episode. Let's go ahead and just get into the business and get on to the episode, shall we? Victory Drive is brought to you by Grizzly Coolers. Grizzly Coolers they are the leaders in the hard-sided coolers and made right down the road in Decorah, Iowa. They make grade A quality stuff. They've got a great team behind them. Just really good things coming from Grizzly Coolers. So if you guys are in the mood for some new coolers, it's starting to warm up. Beer drinking outside season is upon us as well. Camping season. So make sure you get your coolers in before you decide to go camping, and then you're walking around with warm beer looking like a fucking fool out there. So check out Grizzly Coolers. Use code WCB to save some money and help support the show and the network. We've also got Huntworth Gear. You guys are probably already out there turkey hunting, so you probably don't need any more camo. But let's say that you are crossing a fence and you rip your crotch open trying to hop over on the neighbor's side of the fence to shoot a turkey or find some mushrooms. Well, you're going to have to replace those torn up pants from that damn fence line, and no other place to really look besides Huntworth. Huntworth Gear. Use code WCB15 at checkout to save some money because you have a torn out crotch and you're very sad with yourself. So check out Huntworth Gear, find some new stuff, and once again, help support the show. Also got Backmar Diner here in Osage, Iowa. Parents Diner. Great stuff. Home cooked meals, really good shit. We've also got Patreon, my Patreon community out there that I super duper appreciate. They are honestly they just are awesome. They are we have some really good conversations about guns and all that kind of shit in the community chat on Patreon. So if any of you guys are interested in further supporting the show with your monetary dollars, and like I said, I understand. I've said this spiel before. I understand it's hard, with the economy the way it is, and maybe you just got laid off from your job and you can't scrounge up the money to, support a podcast like Victory Drive, and I totally understand that. Don't do it. You got to feed yourself first. I totally understand. We've all been there. Don't worry about it. But if you do have some extra coin to throw around and you want to support the show, Patreon's the best place to do it. And like I said, great community over there, putting some really good stuff on there, and early access stuff, all sorts of fun stuff over at the Patreon. So, yeah, that's about it. Hopefully you guys enjoy this episode with Garret Babcock. Find a way outdoors, turkey calls, good conversations. Awesome. Garret Babcock, how you doing, man?
Well, I can't complain too much. Been busy. How about you?
Yeah, pretty much about the same. I mean, probably not quite as busy as you making calls and stuff. This is probably like the busiest time of your season, probably, isn't it?
Yeah, without a doubt. It's been, as of right now, knock on wood, this is on pace to be the best year so far. So it's been good. But we've hit a lot more shows this year than we usually do too. So that's definitely helped.
Good. That's awesome, dude. So it's been going pretty, I mean, well, obviously you said it's going to be about the best year. So, I guess for people that are listening and stuff, you came on, well, about a year ago now,
Yep.
on last year during turkey season. Um, got the whole backstory on Find a Way Outdoors and your turkey calls and why you got into all that and everything else. So, I guess go back about a year, listen to that episode if you guys want the full recap on Garret and how he got into all this. But so you've been hitting a lot of trade shows and stuff, you said?
Yeah. Hit a couple of the, well, I guess quote unquote bigger shows here for us. Um, Couple of actual outdoor shows. Last year I hit there was a hometown show that was an outdoor show, but it was kind of a smaller one.
Mm-hmm.
This year it was my wife and I, we went and we actually traveled a little bit, hit a couple of the shows, hit the Western New York show. Actually, that's the one that I texted you and said that I saw a guy that I swore was you,
Oh, yeah.
um, at that one. But yeah, we hit a couple of the bigger ones, the little bit more expensive ones, I should say. Um, and they went well. Handed out business cards pretty much like they were candy, just because it was nice to get the exposure. It wasn't quite so nice to hit the budget with some of the entry fees for some of those shows, but they all went well. We definitely didn't lose money at any of them. And then we're coming off of this past weekend. Yesterday was the last day of it, the best show that we've ever done. So it's kind of exciting to see.
Awesome. Yeah, that's super exciting, especially since you've been putting, so much into it and everything else. And it's like, it's nice to see that kind of immediate return on your investment, especially with going to shows. Because is this your first year going to like a bunch of trade shows?
Yeah, I mean, we hit technically one wasn't really a trade show. It was like a maple festival at a high school. It was a craft show, more or less, believe it or not. And then you could count the second one as a trade show. That technically was. It was hosted by Whitetails Unlimited, so I would count it. But so this was the first year that we hit. I think yesterday was show number 6 for the year. So we definitely got out there a little bit more.
That's awesome. Going to shows and stuff, you never really know if it's gonna make sense. I don't. So whenever I go during like trade show season on my end, I'm always with the working class guys, and well, and they, I just hang out at their booth essentially. Next year or the year after, or something like that, we're thinking about either expanding out and doing a different booth situation with with the different podcasts all involved together now. So I haven't personally had to like front the bill for booth space and stuff, but I also don't make any money. But as far as that goes, like I'm just there supporting working class and trying to kind of get my name out there too, kind of like and explain to people what Victory Drive is and all this, all that stuff. But you never really know how much of an impact you make at those trade shows until you kind of keep going back. And to hear that your first time going, that you're at least making some money and making it worth your time right away, that's awesome.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, it's been it's been a lot of work, but I would trade it for the world. I absolutely love it. I mean, it's probably not good for my health, honestly, but it's been a lot of hours working full time and then coming home and then basically working a second full time job that doesn't pay like one. So
Right.
kind of nice to, like you said, see some of it start to pay off a little bit, but long ways to go. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, but it's laying the groundwork. You're still young, and it's a younger company, so it's like you this is all like laying the groundwork, building the foundation, and that's super important. It wouldn't be the same if you just like blew up, because then you like you have your 15 minutes, then you fizzle out. It's generally how that kind of stuff works. I feel like in any type of industry, if you like blow up out of nowhere, then a lot of times those people will shoot up to the top and then they just shoot right back down. It's like you got to build your foundation and get your base nice and solid before you really start getting up there. And it takes hard work. It's a hard fucking work, that's for sure. Getting out there and the time and money and everything, all the investments they have to take, and just reinvesting it back into yourself to make the product better and make everything more seamless. Like it takes a lot of time and effort, that's for sure. I've never built a company like before, but I can about imagine.
I mean, I wouldn't say that I don't know. I don't give myself that kind of credit because it's still to me like I'm still a nobody, but I don't know.
Well, it's a legitimate business, and you're building it. Like it's not. Oh yeah, it's not fucking Primos, but
Yeah.
you're Primos when they first started. They weren't shit either. So it's kind of one of those things. Like this is exciting times because you're building it and all that stuff, but at the same time it gets hard.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it, but I will say like this year's kind of lit the fire. Um, I mean, probably I'm sure you've done the same thing, but there's been a lot of ups and there's been a lot of downs. But with that being said, I'm just stubborn enough that I think I'm going to figure it out regardless because um, it's what I love doing. I mean, it doesn't really feel like work regardless. Like we figured it out last week, and between actually going to the show and sitting there the whole weekend, and then my prep leading up to the show, and then adding my full time job, it was easily 100 to 110 hour week last week. But I wouldn't trade it for the world. Like I said, it's that part doesn't feel like work to me. It more feels like a just a hobby that I can kind of make some money at. So hopefully, I never lose that.
Yeah. No, I mean that's important. You have to love it in order to do something like that. To want to put in the hard work and all that stuff. It's like you have to really love. You have to really be, just really, you know, bitten by the bug, I guess you could say, in order to even come close to quote unquote making it. I guess if so. But that's why there's not like a shit ton of those companies out there though either. Like it's hard work and it takes a lot of. You're not gonna start making calls and then just immediately be able to like, okay, hey, I can quit my full time job and start doing this immediately. You have to kind of pay the piper, I guess, in that sense, where
Yep.
you got to do both for a while until everything starts working out. But
And that's like right now, obviously, maybe it is possible, but the way that I look at it is for me, it's probably not going to be possible. Turkey calls aren't going to sustain me for the whole year, obviously. I mean, that's kind of a seasonal thing, obviously. So it's funny because, and I think my wife probably thinks that I'm clinically insane because the mind never ever stops. And I'm like, listen, I could do this from, obviously I've got the turkey calls from January till like May. and then I'm going to do this from June until September, and then from September till the end of the year, I can do this, this, and this.
Hmm.
And then maybe, even though it's going to triple my hours, I might be able to make the same amount of money that I make at my factory job now. So it's funny because this year, more than any other year, there's actually, like, it seems like it's been a joke for the last 4 or 5 years, but like this year, it's like, oh, wait a minute, hold up. There
Hmm.
might be a slight possibility. I'm still not counting on it yet, but I'm also not going to give up on it until we
Yeah.
see for sure. So by no
Yeah.
means am I saying that I'm like there yet, but it's just cool to see, like you were saying earlier, some return on that investment, because it's been a lot of investment and hasn't seemed like too much return yet.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah. No, I hear you, dude. It's a grind for sure. It's the same thing with it's just like, like I said before, I guess, but it's just like it's like anything else that you're passionate about. You're not gonna you're not getting into it to make $1 billion. You're looking into maybe someday it'd be awesome if it sustained at least a modest lifestyle would be awesome to be able to do what you love and make enough money just to make ends meet at least. But
Yeah.
then it's like when you're doing something that you really love, like in your case making turkey calls, you know you, you don't feel the need to make a lot of make a ton of money. It's like I
Yeah.
always notice that with like business guys, like people in like finance and stuff, you're so driven by money because I truly feel like they fucking hate their job. Like they hate what they're doing. So they're like, in order for me to continue doing this, I have to make a shit ton of money because that's the only thing that makes it worthwhile is making a fuck ton of money. And if you're good at it, then that does feel good to be good at something. But at the end of the day, like I don't think anyone that I've talked to and like the finance sector that like I referred to before, no one loves it. Like no one's like, hell yeah, that's awesome. Like no one's a kid and been like, I want to be in finance or I want to be in in insurance or something like that. It's like no one really wants to. They just end up there because for one, they're good at it, or two, they're like very money driven and that's their goal. So it's like to each your own, but you have to make sacrifices. And in this case, in order to do what you love, you got to kind of eat shit for a while,
Oh yeah.
you
Yeah.
got
Oh yeah.
a little while, and then you can maybe make it enough to sustain at least a modest lifestyle.
Yeah. And the thing is too is like, I mean, I'm 26 years old, so I've got to look at it like that too. I feel like I want that immediate gratification, immediate return on investment. So it's like, yeah, I want it to happen right now, but at the same time, it's like, I probably do have a little bit more time than I think. And like most 26-year-olds, I tried to go to college at one point and it didn't do a thing for me. So I had all the loans and stuff that I could have done without. And then I have some other debt. So that's the main thing right now is my wife's like, hey, if we can get this, 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 and this paid off, we don't have to make as much money. And I have no plans on quitting my job. And she has a really good job. So she's like, if you can get it down to X amount of debt and we don't need to rely on your 40-hour job to live, then it's possible. So as soon as she told me that, the that flame got lit even more, and it's been like every extra penny right now is going towards something. So it's like I don't know if she realized just how serious I was about it until she gave me the she kind of gave me the opening, and I'm like all about taking it at this point.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But like you were saying, I don't need to make a killing. I need to make enough to just get myself by. And I've talked to a lot of people. And matter of fact, I've talked to a couple, I don't want to say legends, but legends in the industry just at a couple of these shows that I went to. And each one of them has asked me the same question. It's like, what are you going to do when this outpaces you? I'm like, well, it won't. But what if it does? They're like, what are you going to do if you get more than what you can handle? I said, I just won't. Like, I don't plan on making a corporation. I want enough for myself and pretty much like myself only, if that makes sense. That kind of sounds selfish, but like, I know my standards for like the quality of the product that I'm putting out. And I don't want to say that I don't trust anybody else to do it, but it's just like I enjoy doing it so much that I can't fathom the idea of letting somebody else do it for me, if that makes sense. So like I have no aspirations of turning into a Primos. But if I could sit here and make it, and obviously if I wasn't working a 40-hour job, I would have a heck of a lot more time to build calls too. So like, I don't know, I feel like that was a really long-winded explanation to say that I just want enough work to keep myself busy.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I don't think I don't think Will Primo's really like planned on it becoming what it did either, though. It's like it's one of those things
Yeah.
he's passionate about, and he was kind of in the industry already. Because I think, if I'm not mistaken, he was like a competition caller and all that stuff way back in the day, and he was an avid hunter, just loved it, and just started cranking out some calls in order because he wanted to make calls for himself, and then just kind of like you, like he wanted nice calls, so he started making them himself because at the time they didn't have anything that suited him properly, whatever. He thought he could do it better, and he did. And then when you start getting orders in, it's like kind of like if it snowballs like that, I mean, that is one thing where you do have to take into consideration because I've seen some very like boutique companies, like when I say boutique, I don't mean like, gay flowers and stuff. I mean like, like very, very, very niche, like companies that they do start expanding, and you do kind of have to be ready to an extent, like they were saying, where if it does outpace you, like, are you going to turn away people and be like, hey, dude, sorry, not going to get you a call? Or you just keep it to be like a custom call maker kind of thing where it's like as they come in kind of deal, like you'll have mouth calls and stuff on the shelf and whatever else, but like, strategically keep yourself either A, from expanding too much, or B, you do have to kind of get ready for it to snowball to a certain extent. But I also get what you're saying with, being so hands on, like this is your baby, and you don't trust anyone else to take. I totally understand that because not necessarily from my personal point of view, but my dad, he's the exact same way. Like he, my whole life growing up, he owned his own construction company, and he took it seriously. Like that was his life. Like he loved building houses. He loved building custom houses. Like he could have made way more money if he would have gotten into, you know, um, I guess more commercialized buildings. Where it's like you have a set amount of plans and you're just cranking out houses. He could have made way more money doing that, but he didn't want to do that. He's like, that's boring, and he's like, that's factory work for housing. He's like, I want to build custom fucking houses, and he took pride in his art essentially, and he was very like he did all of it himself, and then he hired people to help out, and they would suck, and he'd get mad at them, and then they'd go away, and then he'd just end up doing it himself a lot of times. And me growing up with that mindset, like is awesome. On one hand, it's awesome to see as a kid, like see my dad like really passionate about something that and it brought him a lot of joy and like I guess like self-worth, where he's like, he could drive around town, our small town, and be like, I built that house. I built that house. I did this over on this house, all sorts of fun stuff. And he could see his hard work around town. It's kind of cool to see
Yeah.
that as a kid. But at the same time, I know I couldn't do as good a job as my dad did. And I know I wouldn't be able to be up to snuff as him. That's why I didn't take over the construction business either. Like, fuck, I can't do that. And, I just piss him off and he'd be mad at me. So, but he is very much like that too, where he just kept himself, he controlled his customer base, and he made enough money, for to sustain, himself and his family and everything else. But he strategically kept it where he's like, I'm sticking to this. This is my thing that I want to do, so
Yeah, I don't know. I guess that's kind of the goal. Is that same type of thing right there is where, like I said, I enjoy doing this and I love doing it myself, and I don't, even if it did, and maybe I'm wrong, but I'd like to think that I'd figure it out, and I would bet that my wife would probably agree just on sheer stubbornness, because I don't like to be told that I can't, if that makes sense.
oh yeah,
And I don't know. We'll see. Part of me hopes that it does. Part of me hopes that it kind of keeps at the same pace. Because like right now, and granted, I'm working a full-time job. It's it's very like paced. I very well paced right now. I guess there's enough right now that I can stay busy all the time, but I don't feel like I'm so in the hole that I need to call on somebody for help. So
right.
obviously, again, if I wasn't working a 40-hour job, I could increase that workload a little bit. And if it ever happens, I guess we'll see. We'll have to go from there. But
Yeah.
definitely. Again, it's just a lot of fun, even though I'm sacrificing sleep and a lot of health stuff that probably I'll pay for in a few years. But um, it almost costed me last year. I don't know if you knew about that or not, but literally, like, it was like a week or two after I was on your podcast last time, I got into a pretty bad car accident 200 feet from my driveway. And it was, yeah, coming home from turkey hunting.
Yeah,
Um,
I remember seeing that online and stuff and everything. But like, what exactly happened?
I just dozed off. So if you're looking, people that are going to listen to this that know me and where I live, they're going to understand. But to make a long story short, right before my house, there's a real sharp corner, and there's a house, my neighbor's house. It's like kind of down off, so there's a real steep bank right there. And I was coming home, said it was 12:30, 1 o'clock in the afternoon after turkey hunting, and just dozed off just enough and didn't make the corner
God,
off the bank. Yeah, hit a tree about 10 foot high, and then it sent us rolling down over the hill there. And my little brother was actually with me. That was the part I felt the worst about. And he would have, I think he would have been completely unscathed, but he panicked, which as a 12-year-old, what do you do? I think he broke his wrist, but we're pretty sure he did that when he was getting out of the car because he dove out of the car when when we were completely at a full stop. So I think if not for that, he would have been unscathed. But we both were lucky. There's no doubt about it. I escaped. I think I had like a concussion and then just a bunch of cuts, bruises, and I can't even blame my bad back because I had a bad back before that. But yeah, it was considering what it could have been. We're both super thankful, and I'm super thankful, that, especially that he wasn't hurt in it. Too bad, obviously, but it changed perspective on things. There's no doubt about it.
yeah, dude, that's not good. I mean, well, I mean, you're trying to get out and turkey hunt too, because that's obviously what drove you to building, making calls and stuff in the first place. But it's like, God dang, yeah, I mean, you got to take care of yourself too. You know,
Yeah,
that stuff. That's one thing that men are really bad at. There is like taking care of themselves first before they take care of everything else. Kind of deal. But yeah, yeah. Thank God that you guys are all fine. But dude, that could have been because I mean, it sounded pretty steep. Obviously, hitting a tree and rolling down a hill probably ain't. It had to have been pretty damn steep.
yeah, and I mean, we still really don't know exactly what happened in terms of like how we rolled. Looking at it, it looks like when we went over the bank, obviously, and I wasn't going very fast. I know that for a fact. I was sub 30, which is fast enough when you go over a bank, but we think that the car like almost endoed. We think that the nose of the car hit the ground and we endoed, and the top. I actually think it was the bumper of the car that hit the tree
Mm,
10, 15 feet in the air, and then that sent us. And looking back on it, I mean, I still drive by the tree every single day, and I get to see the spot where we hit it. And I think if not for that tree, we probably have a very, very, very different outcome. I think that tree saved us. No joke. Like it's kind of weird to think about, but had that not been there, we would have had a lot worse final destination there. I think because it slowed us down. But I don't know. We'll never know. But it happened for a reason, and we both got through it for a reason, and we're both super thankful about it.
yeah, absolutely, dude. Oh, maybe fucking teach you a little bit less, dude. I guess catch some more Z's, dude. Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah, it was bad last year, and it's been better. Like I've been better about it this year. Still not getting near probably as much sleep as I should be, but it's right there in the back of the mind at all times at this point. But definitely a lot more cognizant.
No, dude, that sucks. I knock on wood. I haven't been in like any like really bad car accidents. I've had a few fender benders. I went in the ditch a couple times. Whatever, not a big deal, and like nothing. Never like totaled a vehicle or nothing like that myself. I had some scares, but
Oh yeah,
thank God, like stuff like that where just either no damage to the vehicle or very minimal and damage to myself. But it's like car accidents, dude. That's one thing that always freaks me out about just life. I guess is like, dude, we literally like every single day, multiple times a day, we get behind the wheel of this, you know, like just this machine of metal and just go drive around at 60, 70, 80 mile an hour down roads and just trust that everyone else on the road is doing the right thing. And like, this is crazy. Like, it's a weird thing. I kind of deal like driving, and then
yeah.
we all take it for granted, and we start so young. Six, like, your license at 16. It's like, dude,
Yeah.
Looking back on it as a 33-year-old man now, I'm like looking back on like 16-year-olds. I don't even know if they should be driving anymore.
Yeah.
This is crazy, you know?
Yeah, and now the scary part is everybody's got a cell phone and everybody's using it while they're behind the wheel. That's the part that it seems a little bit sketchy to me because I see it literally every single day.
That's a lot of bit sketchy, dude. Like
Yeah.
even when I was young, like in high school, it's like we didn't have the smartphones that we have now. You know, we had flip phones and fucking Motorola Razors and shit like that. You know, we didn't have you know an Apple iPhone 16 with Instagram, Facebook, fucking Twitter, TikTok, all this shit right in the palm of your hands. We weren't driving around with like literal computers in the palm of our hand at all times. You know, it's like it is sketchy, and it's like that's why they're changing a lot of laws. You know, like I was going to a hands-free law and stuff like that, and everything else. Like you have to adjust to the times, but like, yeah, it's crazy, and everyone's so addicted to those phones.
Oh yeah.
Like everyone is. So like,
Yeah.
it's crazy. It's a weird thing to be able to shove a teenager out and be like, "Yeah, dude, good luck out there." You know?
Yeah. Yeah, when you explain it like that, you're right.
Yeah, I don't know. It's crazy. But like that's just the times with anything. Back when my dad was a kid, I'm sure, you know, his dad, my grandpa, was probably the same thing. We're like, oh my gosh, all these people, all these kids have these fucking thumping ass stereo systems, listen to AC/DC and Motley Crue. Like that's so distracting,
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah, you're probably 100% right on that too.
every generation has its daily challenges, kind of thing. At least we don't have to worry about like the stuff they had to worry about. It's like
Yeah.
I don't know, like the Great Depression. My dad wasn't that he's not that old, but grandparents and everything else, like each generation has its challenges, and our challenge is fucking technology. I feel like and trying to navigate that whole realm
Yep.
is weird and crazy. Like, well, and thankfully, like with you making calls, like there's probably not gonna be like uh, a robot that has the same sort of care that goes into the calls and stuff. So, I mean, they
Hope
sur
not anyway.
well, I mean, there's definitely machines that are doing
Yeah.
it. There's definitely machines that are doing it, but when you're talking like custom calls and shit, I don't know.
Yeah.
Fuck, I don't know. It'd be kind of weird to shit, maybe I am wrong actually. Now I'm thinking about it, it's like if you're scrolling on like TikTok or Twitter or some shit or Instagram, it's like I do come across like ads where it's like, oh, custom this thing, right now, 9.99. It's like,
Yeah. Well, yeah. 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 I don't know. I think the mouth calls are probably safe, but when you're talking about your friction calls, oh, those. Yeah, definitely machines can. Well, machines already do produce a lot of those. You get like those CNC lathes, you just punch it in, and hey, there's my measurements. There it is.
mm.
You're
Well,
cranking on.
there's something to that. Like I haven't gotten it yet, but you just made me a glass pot call,
Yep.
and I'm very thankful for. By the way, it looks absolutely beautiful. I can't wait to see it in person.
Yep.
But
Yeah, it's
um,
sitting right beside me actually right now.
yeah, but being able to hold something like that in your hand, and know that like a dude went out and cut the wood himself, cut it down, made it by hand. Like that's a whole different thing. That's more of a piece of art that has a utility behind it than like going to Bass Pro and just buying a friction call off the fucking shelf. I mean, like not really having any type of there's something to that we as humans kind of sense, like the difference between like something custom, like actually custom, versus something store bought.
Yeah. And that's the other thing too is I've been asked a few times why because I haven't had friction calls up until about well technically 2 weeks ago was the first time that I've ever had a friction call at a booth and or available for purchase. I've been working on them now for 3 months probably, but it's been a lot of trial and error and like changing measurements, trying to get this and like at this point I've learned through the mouth calls that my standards are so stinking high with everything that I do at this point that I'm not selling anything that I'm not like 150% confident in. So at one of these shows in particular, I was asked by another call maker, why don't I have pot calls or any type of other calls except for mouth calls, which changed pretty quick. Now I've got a few different types, but, um, and I just explained like it's because I'm still learning. Like I haven't mastered them yet. And he's like, well, what do you mean? Just buy the pre-cut ones and glue them together, stick your logo on it. I'm like, what? No, like that's never even been a thought for me. Like I enjoy doing it like we were talking earlier. I like knowing that when I ship something out, it was literally for me from the start to the finish, if that makes sense. I don't want somebody else's measurements. I went out and I threw I don't even know how many pot calls went into my wood stove because I didn't like them. And like it was changing measurements every single day and then figuring out what measurements did what, figuring out which parts of each call did. And it was the same with the mouth calls. It was just it's been a few years since I've had to go through that true R&D phase again that I kind of forgot what it was like. And it's like I couldn't even fathom just kind of taking the shortcut there and buying the pre-cut ones. And that's the cool part about each one of the calls that I'm making is no two are going to be exactly the same. I
Hmm.
mean, I'm measuring everything and everything's going to be within a few thousandths of an inch, but every single one of them had its own unique process from start to finish.
Hmm.
So once if I ever outpace that, then I'm just going to stop doing it. Cause like we were talking about earlier, I don't care to do it that way and I want it to be 100% custom from start to finish.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that's what makes it cool, And you got a laser engraver too now and everything. So, are you going to be offering that like custom? Like if someone sends you like a logo or something like that, like I did, and you make it like 100% custom calls.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's what I was actually talking about with my wife there, and it's just figuring out the pricing stuff. I'm not good at that, but yeah, we are gonna eventually like that is gonna be an option, and it's technically already an option. I just haven't really had anybody really pursue it yet. There's actually one other company that I did it for, and Maven. Actually, I'm wearing their hat right now. Maven Optics. There. I don't know if you've ever heard of them out of Wyoming.
Oh yeah.
Um, I talked to them at Harrisburg at the Great American Outdoor Show there, and just a simple conversation. And at the time, I didn't even know it, but I was talking to the owner of the company.
Oh
And
really?
yeah, and it was just, I was sitting there waiting to talk to one of my buddies that actually works for them. And while I was waiting, he came over and it was a very simple conversation. And of course, I took a back, I didn't go as a vendor. I go as a consumer every year. This year, I might give it a shot. I don't know. We're still talking about it for 26. But like this year, I took a backpack full of mouth calls and a bunch of business cards, and I told my wife, I'm like, listen, if it happens and I have a conversation with somebody that seems valuable, like you never know, like, and she hates that I give stuff away sometimes. She hates it, but I've learned like when something's productive versus like when I first started, I was trying to give stuff out just to get the name out there. But anyways, it was just like a very simple conversation. We got talking about turkeys and how I make calls. I offered him one. And I didn't really expect him to. He ripped it right out of the package right there and started cranking on it right at the show. And he loved it. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. And then it wasn't until like the very end of the conversation that he's like, hey, do you have a card? I said, yeah, I handed him the card. He handed me his card and he said, hey, keep in touch. And his name, he introduced himself. And then I looked at the card and it says owner of Maven. And I'm like, you got to be freaking kidding me.
That's
So
awesome.
they ended up getting a bunch of calls off of me. And then, they were some of the first ones to get to try out the pot calls. So I actually did. It was like 2 days after I got the laser engraver, I engraved, I think, 10 calls and sent them out to them. So between them and you're the only two custom ones that I've ever done. So up to
Oh,
this point, anyway.
well, I appreciate you. That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
And it looks beautiful too. But
Oh,
yeah, dude, it looks really good. And you got like a couple different wood options and stuff too, which is really awesome. But like are you going out and like fucking cutting the wood down and shit and that and drying it and all that, or what was that process looking like?
so right now I'm just because for the time I do have wood that we're gonna dry and it's gonna be us from start to finish. But right now, just because I'm new to it, I wanted to make sure that it was gonna be something that I was going to be able to do, first of all. So I
Mhm.
did order, like, I ordered a bunch of blanks, but in terms of like everything else, I'm cutting them down to size. I'm turning it on. So right now, I'm basically just buying boards and cutting them down to size and
Sure.
doing it that way. And I'm trying to support other small guys, if that makes sense. So, like, I'm finding, and as a matter of fact, it's kind of cool to me. I literally just messaged the guy on Facebook. He tells me what he has. And yep, I'll take this, this, and this. He'll send it out, and then from there it's me 100% of the way. So no, I can't take credit for actually like going out and cutting down the trees at this point, but
Well, yeah. Well,
someday,
you don't want to turn it into like being a half a lumberjack either. Like that's a whole
yeah,
nother fucking, that's a whole nother job in itself, dude. So
yeah,
I'm, I mean, like that. I guess I meant it like I meant it more like cutting. When I said cutting down the wood, that did, put in your mind that you're like cutting down a fucking tree. I meant like cutting it down. Like boards, like cutting it down and
my fault, my fault.
no, you're good. I didn't explain that properly enough. I guess after I said it to you, I'm like, I didn't mean like lumberjack and stuff, but that was my bad. But
No,
I mean,
you're good.
someday that'd be super sick. Get out there with the flannel, and like
Yeah.
that's a whole nother Instagram algorithm in itself. Cutting shit. Like, I see dudes and chicks online all the time. They're like just chopping wood, and they're getting like you know tens of thousands of views on each video. I'm like, you're just chopping wood, dude.
Yeah.
You're just
I,
chopping a fucking log. Like this
I
is
missed the boat apparently growing up. That was what I was doing every single stinking weekend was
what
cutting
nobody.
up firewood and stuff. But
Yeah, nobody thinks about it. Like it's like lumberjacks out there, like lumberjacking, actually doing the work. They're like, this is dumb, monotonous work. Like everyone knows, like I'm just cutting a tree down and chopping it up. It's nothing spectacular. And then all of a sudden you get like a couple, a good looking dude or a good looking lady out there with like suspenders, and they're fucking social media influencers for steel. Like what the fuck?
yeah,
This is crazy.
yeah,
There's literally a niche for everybody. It's wild.
yeah. No, it is insane. And that's yeah. It's at some point you like everybody's gonna get to see my process too, but I live in the middle of absolutely nowhere, so I don't have cell service, so the only thing I rely on is Wi-Fi. And over in my barn, I'm 350, 400 feet away from my house, so my Wi-Fi doesn't reach.
Yeah.
So when I'm over there, it's like I'm completely out of touch with everybody in the world. But we're working on my neighbor is actually going to help me run a Wi-Fi line or run a hard wire over there. So at some point, I'm going to be able to go. As much as I hate TikTok, I hate that I like TikTok because it's helped me a lot. Those stinking TikTok lives. I want people to be able to see the entire process because like it's really hard to be different, I guess, in this market because there's so many call makers and there's so many good call makers out there. So like it's hard to be different, but I feel like if I can completely show my process without obviously giving away certain aspects of the process, I think that might be a way that I can kind of tap in. I don't know if I should say to a bigger audience, but it might be the way that I can differentiate myself from somebody else, I guess.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and also like laser engraving. Like people love seeing that stuff. For it's like people love like I'm one of them. I love seeing like the behind the scenes kind of stuff, and that's one thing that's cool about social media
Yep.
is that you're not just getting an end product with no story behind it. Like social media is nice in the sense where people that are in my opinion, I guess like doing it the right way or using it the right way, where it's like you're showing the behind the scenes kind of stuff, or like just some goofball shit, just fun stuff.
Yeah.
It's, but the showing the behind the scenes of how stuff is like made and everything else, that's huge for especially small companies and everything else, and guys like you, where it's like you do get to show a different side and puts things in perspective, and it gets people more attached to the either to the brand or just to the and make a little more respect for instead of just going to a store and buying a call, actually seeing what goes into making the call and stuff.
Yep. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's crazy too. Like at the trade shows this year, and I guess I thought it was self-explanatory, but I guess it's not. You'd be surprised how many people come up and are like, "Oh, who makes these calls?" It's like, well, me. I make them. And I've had like people, "Who are you selling these for? Who are you doing? Like, who's doing all this? Who's doing that?" I guess I just assumed that everybody thought it was me, but nobody really does. So it's kind of cool when I can show the process from start to finish and people can actually see that it is me. And again, like I said, going back to TikTok, the lives are awesome, and I've had more success selling stuff on the TikTok live, and people think it's awesome, and I've been doing it for probably a couple years now. I'll live order build where people will come on and I'll build their stuff right in front of them, and then from start to finish until it leaves my my house basically. And people think it's cool, so I don't know. I enjoy. I don't care to be secretive about everything, if that makes sense.
Adobe Acrobat Studio, so brand new. Show me all the things PDFs can do. Do your work with ease and speed. PDF Spaces is all you need. Do hours of research in an instant with key insights from an AI assistant. Pick a template with a click. Now your prezzo looks super slick. Close that deal? Yeah, you won. Do that, doing that, did that, done. Now you can do that with Acrobat. Now you can do that with the all-new Acrobat. It's time to do your best work with the all-new Adobe Acrobat Studio.
Does it ever feel like you're a marketing professional just speaking into the void? But with LinkedIn ads, you can know you're reaching the right decision makers, a network of 130 million of them, in fact. You can even target buyers by job title, industry, company, seniority, skills, and did I say job title? See how you can avoid the void and reach the right buyers with LinkedIn ads. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a free $250 credit for the next one. Get started at linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
Yeah, I don't think there's really any need to be either, honestly. Yep. You know, it's but I think that's cool. I think that's cool stuff. It's just you're using the tools at hand, kind of thing. And that one cool thing about once again, social media and stuff is that, small guys like you can, especially if you're creative enough and everything else, and you're doing different stuff, you don't need to put your ads everywhere. You don't need to start out by just being like, well, shit, I'm making these calls and stuff, but no one's buying them because no one knows about me yet. How do I get my name out there? Oh, okay, I guess billboards, magazines, and fucking stuff like that. It's I guess the barrier to entry to advertise is much lower as long as the algorithms like you. If the algorithm doesn't like you, then you're fucked. But
yeah,
it's unfortunately being more around gun content, that algorithms generally don't like me, but it is what it is, but
yeah,
it whatever. But it's is being able to get your name out there is the barrier to entry is much lower, which I think is a good thing for small business.
I agree. But like I said, I picked one of the worst markets probably to go into because it's so stinking flooded. So it is tough to differentiate from others. But with that being said, social media has completely, and I mean completely, changed things for me to the fact that I'm in, and I'm not saying this to talk my stuff up, but it's just it's kind of a cool thing to me. But we just figured it out the other day, and there's at least one of my calls right now in 40 different states, which
That's
to me
sweet.
is crazy. And that it makes it sound like it's a lot more successful than it is. That just counts as one sale to each state. So just to preface that, because when I say that to some people, they're like, "Whoa," and it's yeah. When you really break it down, it's not quite as impressive, but.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, it is cool, dude. It's seeing those analytics and stuff like that is cool. Same with, I guess when I'm looking at my podcast analytics and stuff, there's I have one or two downloads, a month coming from some I can't remember the fucking country, some northern African country. I'm like, that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a VPN or if it's there's actually someone sitting out in Ghana fucking listening to Victory Drive. I don't know.
Yeah.
But, it's kind of cool seeing that where it's oh, wow, this is worldwide now kind of thing. It sounds really cool to say that, but at the same time, it's two people, maybe.
Yeah.
You
Yep. Yeah, that's the same thing. Yeah. But it is awesome. It is cool to think that
Yeah.
you have the
You got a
potential to do
nationwide
that.
company, dude.
Well, thanks. I'm gonna call it that, but I don't know if it technically counts.
You got a nationwide company, dude. It doesn't matter if it's only one in each state.
Well, and it's funny too because I have a buddy that's in the military right now, and there's no turkeys in Alaska, right? He's stationed in Alaska right now, and he just bought some calls. So I'm shipping calls to Alaska. So I don't know if that technically counts as an Alaskan sale, but
Oh, dude, totally. Yeah. absolutely. I don't care if they're using that call in the strip club just to be silly. You know, it doesn't matter. It's still there. You know, it's still there.
It was kind of funny too because I went to school with the kid and I saw his mom at the show this past weekend and we were talking about it and she's like, "Yeah, he's actually headed to Georgia here in like a month and he's been talking about wanting some calls." And I'm like, "Oh, I got to text him right now. I got to get him before he heads to Georgia. I've already shipped to Georgia." So, so I texted him and sure enough, he put in an order.
Oh, that's funny. Is that like one of your little just like personal goals is to be able to ship to at least each state, all 50 states?
To be honest, it really wasn't up until last year.
Okay.
Um, I don't know if you ever saw it or not, but it was a TikTok. It was just a story, I think, if I remember correctly. And it was just strictly based on curiosity. I just one day got bored and figured, let's just kind of go through. And I printed out a blank map of the country and said, I'm going to highlight every state that I've shipped to. So I went through and it ended up being like 17 or 18. I can't remember. And I thought that was awesome. Like I wasn't really, I couldn't ask for much more. I'm like, whoa, that's kind of cool for something that started literally just as kind of not really a joke, but something that was as horrible quality as it was 5 years ago to where it is now. I'm like, 18 states is awesome. So I posted that onto a story and said, hey, we're at 18 states. And the next thing you know, people started commenting like, oh, I'll knock this one off. Oh, I'll get this one. I'll get this one. And the next thing you know, but in like a week and a half, I was in like 38 last year.
No shit.
So it was like, whoa, that was completely unintended. But now that it's a thing, like, well, let's see what we could do. So yeah, now we're in this year. It's only like, and I say only, like I'm ungrateful for it. It's like 22, I think now, but two new ones that I didn't have last year. So combined total of 40 of them, 40 of them right now. So
Mhm.
it's just neat. I don't know. Like I said, I'm trying not to make it sound like I'm talking the company up. It's just something that I would have never dreamed of
Mhm.
years ago.
Dude, no need to apologize. Like, it's cool. Like it's a cool thing. You know, it's okay to be proud of that stuff. You know, like it is really cool to be able to ship to all. You know, like if you were able to get, whenever I shouldn't say if, like whenever you do, you already knocked off Alaska, dude. Like fuck, like there's basically turkeys in every other state. I feel like,
Yeah.
but is there other turkeys in Hawaii?
Yeah, technically. Yeah.
Okay, there you go. Fuck. You
I don't
sold
have a I
yet?
don't have a hookup there though. So
What?
I said I don't have a hookup there yet.
Yeah, well, one of your military buddies might get stationed there someday. Then you got
Yeah, I hope so.
him. No, that's cool though. I mean, it would be really neat to be able to plant your little, I guess your own tiny little find a way flag in each state. Like that would be a neat thing to say, you know.
Yeah, and like I said, it's like I I try to be as humble as I can with it, but it's like holy crap. When I look back on it, it was a lot of time and a lot of frustration, a lot of money. It was just a lot to get it there. So like it is neat for me, and it's just kind of like a personal satisfaction at this point because realistically nobody else really cares. But it's kind of cool for me to see, and hopefully it keeps going. But I will say, like you made the comment earlier about not knowing the impact that you actually have. I had people this weekend at the show that like some conversations that were tough for me to have without like tearing up because you get little kids that come up and they're like, "Oh my gosh, last year you did this, this, and this," and like it didn't seem like anything in the moment to me, but like it meant a lot to somebody else. And for me to look back and be able to say that I had an impact on that, that's why I did. I don't care about the money like that. That's more important to me than it is making money doing this. So I've always told people if I was in it to make money, I would have picked anything else.
Yeah, right.
Not this, but
Well, I think it's all like let me see how I want to word this. So it's kind of like a different personality trait. Like everyone has kind of different personality traits. Like I was talking about the money driven guy earlier and stuff. It's like, certain guys, and I'm not even saying that this is necessarily you or maybe it is or whatever, but some guys are like more like, I guess, for like lack of better words, I guess like legacy driven, where it's like I'd rather make more of an I guess societal impact, no matter how small or how big it is, rather than like a monetary impact. And that's kind of where I'm at with this too. Because like, if I wanted to get rich, podcasting is not the get rich scheme, dude. Unless the best way to become like a famous podcaster is to already be famous.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. 100%.
It's like it's one of those things where, like my goals with this podcast is kind of similar to yours, where with your calls in that instance, with that story that you just shared, where it's like, we're not doing it to get rich and make $1 bazillion. It's like it's cool and it's more fulfilling to have stuff like that happen, where someone comes up to you like, "Holy shit!" Like, dude. This helped me. Like, oh, I bought one of your calls last year and it was awesome. I killed my first turkey with it. Like, which matter of fact, I did use your call to get calling a bird for my nephew's first turkey. So that was, it was really awesome.
Yeah, like that stuff right there that's why I do it. Like it gives me a reason to like have an impact on something everybody else is doing without having to physically be there. And I don't know. It's just, like I said, if I was in it to make money, I'd be doing something else or I'd be charging a heck of a lot more money than what I am, because when you really figure it up, profit is not really, it's not really there. So
Right. Yeah. If you're trying to make money, you'd be a lumberjack influencer on social media, dude.
yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Let's face the music here. No one actually likes chopping wood.
No, it sucks. I hate it.
It's
Like
not a passion of anyone,
no.
someone did it a couple of times and like, holy shit, this is getting a lot of traction. I'm going to keep doing this, but they're not like cutting wood on Instagram in order to fucking stoke the fire, their wood burning stove in their house.
Yeah.
That's not why they're doing it, So there you go. They're definitely, no one's passionate about fucking chopping blocks of wood.
Yeah.
I
I agree. No, I agree with you completely. Yeah, and I mean, and it shows too, like listening to yours, because I got a little behind on my podcast stuff, so that's why, like the other day when I messaged you there, I pretty much binged your podcast for like 4 days straight to catch back up.
Oh,
But
sure.
it shows like you enjoy what you're doing, and I think it's similar to what I'm doing. Like you can definitely tell when somebody's in it for, I don't want to say the right reasons, because everybody's got their own reason, and whatever their reason is right for them. But I guess my perception of why you're doing it seems to be similar to why I'm doing what I'm doing. So it's kind of cool to see other guys that share that same mindset and passion for it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I for one, I appreciate you saying that. That's really nice. But yeah, I mean, it is definitely a passion project thing. It's not something. It's like just kind of like you. Like if I were able to make enough money off of Victory Drive and podcasting to have a modest lifestyle, I'd be more than happy, because this is a job that I can do until I'm dead, essentially. Or like you making calls, like it's a job that you can do until you're dead, and you won't, even if you're not, you don't need to make $1 bazillion in order to be happy. Like I think that kind of mindset has definitely shifted in a lot of people, which is a good thing in society, where people are kind of generally looking for more fulfillment outside of monetary gains, which I think is a very important thing. Like there's more to life than just fucking grinding it out in a factory, waiting to retire. So then you can retire and then you can live your life. It's like, I don't want to live my life at 65. I want to live my life now, kind of thing,
Yeah, and I've said that for years too. Like, I'm alive right now, so why not enjoy it while we're doing it, right? Instead of, like you said, planning to hopefully, maybe, possibly be able to enjoy stuff when you really can't do the stuff that we want to do. Because, like, I'm sure it's the same for you. The way that we do things, like in the outdoors, when I'm 65, I'm probably not even going to be able to walk, let alone be able to get out there and do stuff at the level that I want to do it. So you might as well enjoy it while you can.
Yeah, exactly. And like, you say you're 26.
Yeah. Yep.
So, looking back, I'm 33. So looking back to when I was 26, like I'm a much different man now than I was when I was 26. And there's certain aches and pains and shit that I have now that I didn't have when I was 26. And it's like, uh, getting older is inevitable, and like getting old and dying is an inevitability. So it's like really sitting there and like, be in the military at such a young age. I joined when I was 17, and deployed to Afghanistan. I was 19. So it's like getting that experience so young. It's a very life altering experience where, I don't want, like, what do I want to do with my life kind of thing? It's like, what do I want to be doing with my life? And it, I don't want to look back on my life when I'm, that old saying of, when I'm laying in my deathbed, do I want to look back on my life and wish I would have done differently? It's like, I don't want that. I don't want that because I've seen that with people before. And, it's like, I want to be able to do that. And I feel like it's a disservice to certain people that can't do it, don't have the have can't do it anymore. So it's like, yeah, I don't want to start living my life when I'm 65. I want to start living my life now, no matter what age that is for whoever's listening or you yourself. It's like, start doing it now and kind of, I don't know. Like I said, I don't need a fucking mansion. I don't need a Ferrari in order to be happy, so.
Yeah, I'm the same way. And the way that I look at it, and I've been called a lot of things except for smart by a lot of people, but I feel like, and I didn't used to be this way. I used to think that you had to just fall in line and, go get your 40 hours, get the job that you hate just because you have to. But the more that I work that job that I particularly don't care for, the more it makes me realize it's like, you know what? It's affecting my daily life at this point. Like, I go to work and I come home and I stress out about work when I really feel like I my my potential needs to be somewhere else at that point. Like, I feel like I'm not doing what I was supposed to be doing. And again, the more that I go and work that, and I'm not saying anything, like, the job that I have is really good. I'm not going to say that it's not, but it is a factory job, and it is not at all what I would have guessed that I was going to end up doing. Like you said, you're from 26 to 33, you're different. Like, even me from right now at 26 to like 18 when I was still in college, it's like, oh wow, I didn't expect to be here. But there's some good things that have came out of it. Like, I wouldn't have a lot of the stuff that I have had I not went that path. But I'm at the point now where it's like, you know what? There's always going to be jobs. There's always going to be jobs. And I would feel like I could probably work just about anywhere. And I think that my work ethic could get me hired doing whatever I wanted to do. So why not take the shot and hope that I can make it myself? And then if it doesn't work out, there's always going to be something that I could go to. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I
dude.
feel like at the same time, I'm almost, I don't want to say carefree about it. I'm almost too hell bent on trying to take the risk now. And maybe I shouldn't be, but I feel like there's always going to be a backup plan.
No, definitely do it, dude. Absolutely. Like, that's not a bad. That's a good way to look at things. I think. You're 26. Like, I know when I was 26, it's like I definitely felt like, I don't know. You're not getting any younger, so you're always the oldest you've ever been. If that you say it's obvious, Captain fucking obvious over here, but it's one of those things where it's like you feel like you always. At least I struggle with this, even in my 20s. It's like I always kind of feel like I'm on a timer where I'm like, fuck, dude. When I was getting ready to leave the army, I'm like, shit, dude. I've got almost 10 years in the military. I'm like, I should just stick it out for another 10 years. But that's I'm like, fuck, that's 10 more years, dude. Like, that's 10 more years of something that I don't feel the calling to do anymore. And it's like I've said this a million times on this podcast, but it's like I really wanted to. My daughter was back at home in Iowa, and I was in fucking El Paso, Texas. And I'm like, that's not what I want. I feel like I'd be more impactful, going back home, being a father, and just figuring it out. Like you said, like I have a pretty good work ethic. I feel like I can learn some shit pretty quickly in a reasonable amount of time. Whereas, like, if I get home, I can figure it out. Like, I can just figure it out from there and just go from there and just take the leap because I know I'm more impactful in my daughter's life than I would be in the military. So it's like when you leave the military, it's like you're done. Like, no one gives a fuck about you anymore. So you're going to be replaced. There's a million other people sitting to take your spot. So no one's going to miss you. But my daughter's going to miss me every day for if I'm not there. So that's kind of my fork in the road where I'm like, I was in my late 20s and I'm like, dude, what do I do? Like, it's a big decision. Either I re-up and I stay in for 10 more years because I was on my last enlistment. And if I re-upped one more time, it would have been indefinite. So I would have stayed in I would have committed to a full 20 years. Or I go home and figure it the fuck out. So I decided to go home and figure the fuck out. And it's like when you do stuff like that enough, then you realize it's not as scary as you think, you know? So taking a leap of faith, especially at 26 years old, like you feel like you're on kind of you're like, man, do I leave my job and leave I don't know if you have a 401k or whatever benefits you have at your job in order to take a leap of faith and do something different? Or do I make the decision to just commit to this job and just go from there? But I think it's also living in like I grew up and I still live in a very conservative town, like very, very conservative area. Guys go to high school, graduate, they get a job and they do that job until they retire. That's generally like the process you kind of go through in towns like this. And especially if you find a good job like I did, where am working a good job that has a state pension and everything else. And it's like, it's a big deal if I ever leave my job. But I'm also not scared to, because it's like we were talking about before. It's like there's more to life than just grinding it out until you're retired, So
and I always, and it's gonna sound stupid to say, but like I always kind of look at it, and I think I said it last year, but thank you for your service, by the way.
yeah,
My brother was in the military too, so I don't understand it, but I get what you're saying.
mhm,
And the way that I look at it is, if I leave my job, like, it is what it is. I'm not over fighting a war where I have the potential to not even have the ability to come back home. Like, there's a lot worse things in the world, and I'm trying to, like you said earlier, there's some people who don't have the option.
mhm.
And I'm not saying that I really have the option right now, but like I said, I'll figure it out. I have up until this point. Like, the fact that I'm still here right now and the fact that I am where I am in life right now has been a direct result of me just figuring it out. Because I'm kind of like the fake it till you make it guy, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like that's probably doing myself a disservice by saying it like that, but that's kind of what it feels like to me. Because like I feel like, I don't want to say imposter syndrome, but I feel like I'm surrounded by guys that know a hell of a lot more than I do and are way smarter than I am, but I'm still here with them, if that makes sense.
No, it makes total
So,
sense. It's like, but it's also one of those things you got to look at. It's like all those guys that you're looking at that, have it kind of all put together and have it figured out kind of deal. They were in your shoes at one point in time,
yeah.
so
Oh,
they
yeah.
were faking it until they make it kind of thing too. I don't like that term because it makes us, seem, it's kind of insinuates that you're faking what you're doing, but, um, you're just figuring it out, you know? In the army, we call it, it's like FitFo, figure it the fuck out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's the process you're in right now, and
Yeah.
eventually you're gonna be where those guys are at now, with enough time and, grind and everything else, where it's like you're gonna be there eventually, and then you're gonna be able to see a new guy kinda coming up and figuring it the fuck out too. It's like, and it's the kinda same thing with, like, podcasting too, that everyone's in different levels, where they're at in their lives. I'm fairly new to podcasting, and, like, WCB, they've been doing it for a long time, and other guys have been doing it longer than them. It's like, it doesn't mean, it's like you're not faking it till you make it, but you're just figuring it out. You're in trial and error. You don't have everything out ironed down. You don't need to either. You
Yeah.
don't need to figure it out, dude. You can figure it out as you go, and that makes it more. I think that makes it more, I guess, genuine too, because you're going through the hardship. You're going through the struggles. You're not a trust fund baby that has a bunch of money to fucking fall back on, and you it's like you're working your job, you're getting your paycheck, however frequently you get it, every time your paycheck comes in, you pay the bills, and you look at the rest of your money, you're like, okay, now I can reinvest this back to myself, kind of thing. It's like you're doing it the right way, and it just takes, it's like it's a good thing.
I appreciate that. Yeah. It's like I said earlier, it's a lot further now than what I would have ever imagined it would have gotten. And like, I don't know, we're not getting younger, and we're definitely not going to have the same opportunity now. Like right now, I don't have kids yet. So like if I'm going to take the chance, it seems like now's the time to take the chance.
Oh
But
yeah.
maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, it's way harder to take a leap of faith when you have a kid. I had my daughter when I was 21, so I was super young. And it's like I've always had that in the back of my mind. Like every leap of faith I took in my life, I'm like, if I fuck this up, like I'm a shitty dad and I can't provide for my daughter. So it's like there's a lot more weight to it. And it's like right now in your life, like your wife's working and stuff. So it's like if you fuck up, the worst thing that's gonna happen is like, oh shit, like sorry, honey,
Right. Yeah.
mistake. Now I'm gonna go back to doing whatever else. I'm gonna go back to focusing on my factory job and doing that, or it's, whatever it is, but yeah, now is the time to make mistakes, dude, because you have a little kid staring at you like, take care of me, dad.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Your
Yeah.
life changes so much when that happens, dude.
Yeah. And that's the thing too, is it could happen at any given time. So like I don't want to say the scary part, but it's like,
Well, generally it happens after sex.
well,
you know?
typically, yeah. 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 I guess you got me on that one. I don't really have anything to say about that. But yeah, it's just like, I don't know. I want to strike while I have the opportunity to strike on it. So like, it might work, it might not, but I don't want to regret not taking the chance. And I feel like right now, even though I'm still working full time, I feel like I'm already taking the chance a lot more than I thought, because it seems like all of my free time is now to the business. All of my extra money is going to the business. All of like everything that I have is invested in the business right now, to where like it's bills that my 40-hour job covers, and then the business. And then that's my entire life at this point. There's like no enjoying any of it until I can see that light, at which it might not ever happen. I feel like I'm the type that I'm just never going to be satisfied no matter what route it goes. And I'm always going to be like, well, let's add this. Oh, let's do this. Oh, let's do that. So I don't know. We'll see, I guess.
Well, at the end of the day, you're having fun doing it, though.
Fun, right? Yeah, it
So
definitely was fun.
that's the biggest thing, that you wouldn't be doing this if, like we said, if you didn't enjoy it and you weren't totally passionate about it. So like you always have that to fall back on. It's not a waste of time or money if you enjoy it too.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. And that's the thing, is it's just like when I sit back and think about it, I used to be big into like fly fishing. I used to tie a bunch of flies. I used to go and do a lot of shed hunting. I used to do that, and I'm not doing that now. And if you would have asked me a couple years ago when I was still heavy into it, I would have thought that I was gonna like regret it. But now it's like I feel like my purpose is the business,
Mm-hmm.
and the rest of it doesn't. Like I have more fun helping other people, and having that impact on other people, than I do doing it myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I totally get that. And it's like, I can only refer back to the podcast about stuff like that. But it's like, yeah, I mean, it's definitely a sign of maturity for sure when you're looking at it like that. Because when I was a kid, just like you, it's like I had all the time in the world, and I didn't have, I had no responsibilities. I had all the time in the world to go out and like, waterfowl hunt, which I loved to do when I was younger, and all this other stuff. And it's like I don't do any of that anymore. I really only have time to get out there and hunt turkeys and then hunt deer. And then if I go out west or on a big trip like to Africa, like pretty much I limited myself down to like, turkeys and then big game. Because that's waterfowl hunting is fun. I love it, and pheasant hunting's fun. I do love it, but it's like, like I can't do it all. Like I don't have time to do it all anymore. So you have to prioritize that kind of stuff. And that's just growing up and maturing and stuff too, you know?
It's the exact same for me. It's turkeys and deer. I get invites to go do other stuff, and it's just like, sorry, I can't. Like I don't have the time, because and maybe it's the wrong mindset to have. I feel like if I'm not investing all necessary time to the business, I feel like I'm wasting it. And maybe that's probably not the right way to look at it, but I don't know. I can't change it at this point. So
No, I think as long as you still got to make time, like personal time for like, you and your wife and stuff like that. It's good, but outside like that kind of stuff, it's like you should be. That's good. That's the signs that you're taking it seriously and you're ambitious and you're trying to do something cool. So it's like
Yeah.
you need to put a lot into it in order to get the ball rolling.
Yeah. And again, I'm not trying to say that I'm any better than anybody else, but I'd like to think that I could outwork pretty much, at least my work ethic, I would feel like is as strong, if not stronger, than anybody else, I guess. I don't know.
Yes. That's huge, dude. That's what my dad always told me. I should say always. I think he might have said to me once, but he's like, Jake, you either got to be strong or smart. It's like if you're not gonna be smart, you better be strong, kind of thing. It's like I've been doing too hot in school. I'm like, all right, well, I guess I gotta get strong. So,
I,
but that comes with like a hard work ethic and stuff like that too. So
Yep.
it's not just like physical strength, but it's like have that
Yep.
work ethic and that drive and everything else. Because
Yep.
I'm not fucking smart. I don't just pick stuff up like the job. I can't read something and have like I don't have photographic memory. I can't just like boom, 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 boom. All right, now I'm an expert at this thing.
Yeah.
I
I'm
don't.
the exact same way.
So
It's trial by fire for me. Either I'm going to be good at it by doing it, or I'm not going to be even close.
yeah, like my sisters, like, you could tell her like, all right, Justine, don't touch that pan. It's hot. And she's like, okay. Then me, Jake, don't touch the pan. It's hot. I'm like, fucking how hot? No, dude, that's pretty hot. All right, you're right. My bad. So it's like,
Yep. Me too.
yeah. I don't know. It's a whole different, like, it's another personality thing. I think like the smarter people just like learn without making the mistakes. But I'm like, I gotta make the mistakes.
Yeah. No, I would rather make the mistakes, to be honest with you, because that means I at least tried it.
Yeah. I mean, I could have gone my whole life without knowing how hot the pan was, but still, I had to see.
Yeah. I'm the same way. I think we have very similar outlooks on that. So that's a good thing.
So what else you got going on with Find a Way? Obviously, you got the pot calls coming and stuff. Is that gonna be your next big I guess let me word it this way: Find a Way Outdoors, the next year's goals. What do you
So
got?
it's probably, I don't know if it's attainable or not, but if you ask me, I'm going to say yes because I'll figure it out. If you ask anybody else, probably not. So like I said, I'm planning my year out as we go, and I'm planning the future years out for the business. So like right now, the pot calls were kind of like well, let's see if we are actually serious about adding this on, because the pot calls added a ton, and I mean a ton of extra work. And I've seen a direct effect on the diaphragm calls you see behind me. Um, but I feel like I've handled it very well, and I kind of proved to myself, you know what, your workload can get stronger, and you will figure out how to navigate it while still having somewhat of a life and do this. So like, I don't know if you ever saw it, but I think I have a video of it on pretty much all my social media. So my wife killed her first turkey ever last year. Um,
Mhm.
and it was the highlight of my year by far, like no doubt. Other than getting married, I probably shouldn't say it. Getting married was the highlight of my year last year.
That's the smart answer.
Yeah, but yeah, so like she went out and killed her first turkey last year, and I did. You've probably seen them on TikTok, like those feather mounts, like the picture frame feather mount thing, like the big things.
Yeah.
So I did one of those, and it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of time, a lot of money, and a lot of effort. But it was a lot of fun to do it. So like the next step I think is going to be, like, I've already talked to a bunch of people this year that want them done. So I think I'm going to add that on, and that could be like my quote unquote summer projects is doing. So it's going to be like, cause I already do skull mounts in the fall, and I kind of do, like, I'm kind of messing with some hydro dipping stuff and whatnot. So like I've kind of got my fall already planned out. And this year in my barn, probably pretty much as soon as the weather breaks here, cause we're still not sure if we want to be summer or winter yet. So, um, we're gonna build a walk-in cooler in the barn, and I'm gonna offer deer processing and stuff this year as well.
Damn.
So it's gonna be like we're gonna see how much I could take. Um, but I figured, like, the feather mounts, even if I could just take in 20 or 30 of them a year, when you figure the total gross amount of money that would bring in would be at least comparable to the amount of money that I would bring in that chunk of the year at my full-time job. So it's just like, we're going to see, I don't know. So it's basically like within this year, we're going to add as much stuff as I possibly can take and see if it is feasible for me to think that it's going to be a full-time gig or if it's going to be not possible, because the idea is there, but I have to see if the amount of work is either going to be there or if I can handle it. So we'll see. I mean, I already cut up like this year I did, well, I don't even know. I didn't even advertise this year, and I bet you I did 40 skulls.
Damn.
Um, I still have skulls, but my wedding kind of delayed my setup for everything this year because we got married the weekend before bow season. So I didn't have time to set up for anything. So when I started getting skulls rolling in, it was just like, shit, we're
Yeah.
going to figure it out. So
Yep.
this year I'm going to have a better setup. We have a separate building. I have a little tractor shed. That's going to be like my taxidermy studio, I guess. So we're going to do that. And then with the feather mounts, that'll probably be over there too. So like this year I've got a plan as to how my property is going to facilitate the business. Worst case scenario, like I told her, I was like, if it ever does come to that and like I do get quote unquote slow, like if I don't get enough work, my brother-in-law now has a construction business who I'm sure if I really needed work, he's probably got something I could do, or I could go out and find a part-time job doing something
Mhm.
to fill the void fill the financial void, I should say. Um, so I don't know. We're gonna see. I made a post yesterday about it, about the show that we went to. Like, it feels more real now than it ever has, and it feels like the potential for it to become a living for me, it's there. It's not a high percentage, I feel like right now, but it's like the Dumb and Dumber movie. So you're saying there's a chance.
Right.
So, so that's kind of how I'm looking at it at this point. So we're gonna invest every bit of financial resources that I have to possibly do, and I'm gonna all my physical time and all my effort and all that. Like, it's gonna be put there, and I'm not gonna fail for lack of trying. There's no doubt about it.
No, that's awesome, dude. You do kind of have to diversify a little bit especially when you're talking about like seasonal stuff, like the turkey calls are fairly seasonal and stuff.
Yeah.
So if you can fill the other seasons up
Yeah.
with other different things, like
Yeah.
diversifying is very important, and
Yeah.
you never know what other opportunities that stuff brings too. So it's like you never know kind of where it goes until you kind of start doing it, which
Yeah.
is exciting and scary all at the same time.
Yeah, oh, it definitely, yeah, there's no doubt about it. And grunt tubes are going to be the other thing. As soon as turkey season ends, I'm going to start ripping out grunt tubes as well. So that'll be cool. But
Are you gonna do
that
like
way I can
are you,
technically have a call.
yeah. Are you gonna do like wooden grunt tubes?
Yeah, yep, definitely.
Hell yeah, dude. That's
Yeah, and it's going to be, I'm going to do the same thing that I did with the pod calls. I don't really have a time frame as to like, I don't want to overpromise and say, yep, I'm going to have them available now. It's going to be the same type of deal where nobody's going to see one of these things until they are where I want them to be. So like that's kind of the motto for the business for the rest of my life and if I ever lose that, then I'm going to give it up. So we'll see.
yeah.
Might work out, might not.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, yeah, just like with anything else, it might work out, it might not. But if it doesn't work out, like you said, it's like if you feel it or not, like, you are young enough where it's like this is a good time to like start doing stuff like that and getting after it. So it's really cool to see, dude. Honestly, like there's a lot of people out there that are just very content, and there's nothing wrong with it. I'm not saying anything bad by any means, but there's a lot of people that are just content being unhappy, and in a lot of times they have the potential to do great, awesome, amazing things. They just get scared, which is totally fucking like makes sense. Like it's totally valid. That fear is totally valid because it's scary, especially with like the way the economy is up and down and all this stuff. It's like if you have something consistent, it's really hard to leave, especially if it's consistently providing you decent life, yeah, stability and a decent life and stuff. It's easy to get kind of sucked into just going in the monotony of like going to work, coming home, eating supper, drinking beer, and going to sleep. You
Yeah.
know, and there's like I said, there's nothing wrong with that. Like there needs to be people like that, but
I agree.
there's also I know there's also a lot of people, and if you're completely happy doing that, that's great. Like that's awesome. But I know there are a lot of people that are just like super miserable that are just scared, and it's nice and like refreshing to see like you going for it. Like it gets me excited. Like I get
appreciate that.
that, dude. So it's cool to see that. Really,
I appreciate it. It is. I can't even lie, and I haven't even committed fully to like making it a full-time thing, and it's already scary to think about. But I had a really good conversation with a guy this past weekend who kind of was in the same boat as me. Completely different market. Like his was a farm versus like me making game calls. He said the same thing. He said, I had a really, really good job. I had it was really good pay. I was stable. Everything was good, but I wasn't happy. And he said, it was the hardest decision of my life. And he said, for 5 years, I stressed about it after I finally did it. But he said, looking back on it, I would have never done anything differently. And I'm like, that's kind of where I want to be, because I feel like I'm about 5 years behind where I should be at this point. I should have, rather than going to college, I should have just dove right into this right off the bat, or like went to something that was going to lead me here sooner, which it's easy to say, but like I'm glad I'm here now. But with that being said, it's like I always have that slight feeling that it's like, damn, I wish I would have tried it sooner. I wish I would have done it sooner, because like I've I very much am a student of the game in terms of like trying to learn everything, and I don't know jack about business. But with that being said, I'm trying to figure it out. And again, trial by fire. I don't really have the help. It's every bit of the business is me, from the financial aspect of it to the building the calls to the decisions to the trademarks to like all of it. I'm figuring it out as I go. So like I almost wonder what would have happened if I would have tried it sooner. I might have given it up. I don't know. But we're never gonna know that. So we're gonna roll with the punches as we go now, and if it works out, it works out, and if not, I tried.
Yep. I think about that all the time too. It's like, man, I wish I would have just done something like, like, well, yeah, if I could go, reverse the wheels of time, it's like, it'd be cool to do something like this, like be one of the first podcasters right off the rip, right after fucking school and stuff. But there also you need to go out and get a certain amount of life experience before. Because like if I would start doing a podcast, let's say I started doing a podcast right after I fucking got out of, if I even knew what a podcast was, I didn't, because it's 2009 when I graduated. So like back in 2009, if I would have been one of the first guys to have a podcast, it'd be sick. I'd be right there with Joe Rogan, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah. That's what you think, anyway.
Yeah, that'd be so cool. But then I'd have like no life experience.
Yeah, 100%. Yep.
I would have failed. I feel like I didn't have the drive, I didn't have the wherewithal. And I have it now because of my past experiences brought me to who I am today. And it's like you, if you want to start doing it right after high school, you might not have had that, that work ethic or that drive instilled in you that young, where you're just like, you crank out a few calls, like, man, this is fucking lame as hell. I'm not doing shit, and then you quit, then you're done.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that is a good way to lay it out too. Yeah, so I don't know. Like we were saying earlier, everything does happen for a reason. So it's
it does.
Roll with the punches and see where it takes you, I guess.
Take the opportunities when they come, and if they feel right, take them. If they don't feel right, then don't feel bad about not taking them either. But it's like, you can play that game. And I've played it a lot. You can play that game of like, oh, if I would have done this different, if I would have done that differently. But at the same time, you didn't, and you're just doing. We're all just doing what we think is right at the time. So if I was really smart, I would have taken all my money that I got from deployment, instead of blowing it on stupid shit, I would have invested in like Apple or Amazon or Facebook. I would have taken my however many thousands of dollars I came home with from Afghanistan and put it into stocks, and I would have been living high in the hog now. But I didn't. So
I know what you mean. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Because that what if is always, even if everything goes the way that we want it to, I feel like we're always gonna say, well, what if we would have done this? What if we would have done that? So it's never gonna go away. But
no, it won't. And it's because we don't know the future and we can't turn back in the time. So it's like, it's always gonna be there. Like, if I would have done that differently. But when you put things into perspective, it's like, my life is pretty good. I have a great wife, a great kid, living in a decent place. Like, life is good, but you also gotta keep your mind open, your eyes open for if you can make it better for the future, kind of thing.
Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah, it's like I said, I think we share a lot of the same mindset on a lot of that stuff. So it's kind of cool to see because I feel like a lot of people don't have it, but
Yeah. No,
maybe.
definitely. Well, cool, man. Oh, hey, I don't want to keep you all night. I really do appreciate you coming on, and I'm really super excited to get the calls. Like, they look great, and I'm super excited about that Poggle. It looks absolutely beautiful from the pictures that you sent me. So I'm really excited. For it's like I'm honestly really excited about the Poggles just because they look so nice. They
I
look
appreciate that.
they look super fucking nice. So why don't you go ahead and like put out like where can people find your calls and all that stuff? Because I really want people to like, 'cause especially like I said, I know you're just getting into it, but the pot calls are fucking badass, dude.
I appreciate that. It's been a lot of work, and again, I'm not saying that mine are better than anybody else's, but I promise you, 100% of my effort went into making every single one that goes out. So
It'll be the nicest pot call I've ever had. So
I appreciate that. That's cool.
yeah,
But yeah, so you can find me basically on any of the social media platforms. Off the top of my head, I don't know the exact usernames, but if you search "Find a Way Outdoors," it should come up. You'll see the logo. It's actually the one that's on my shirt right now. If the A has the antlers on it, you're probably at the right place. Um, but yeah, other than that, my website is www.findawayoutdoors.shop. Um, that's got every product that I potentially have is going to be on there. Um, but with that being said, if there's something on there that you want and don't see, always feel free to reach out to me on any of the social media platforms, and I can try to facilitate. And like we were talking earlier, custom calls are definitely an option. But don't be mad when I am wishy-washy about how to go about it, because I still am trying to figure that part out because I'm still brand new to it. But yeah, so Find a Way Outdoors on pretty much every platform, and no matter what it is, it's going to come back to me, and I'm going to be the one you're talking to. So
that's awesome.
yeah, I appreciate you
And,
giving me the opportunity to come back on, and it was another, I feel like, a really good conversation, and it's kind of cool to see where things have changed in the last year for you too. Like, I feel like you're killing it now, so that's awesome.
appreciate it, man. I do. I really do appreciate that. Yeah, man, absolutely. I appreciate you coming on. This has been fun, kind of, getting into turkey season and stuff. Everyone's thinking turkey. So, if anyone out there, you guys need some turkey calls and shit like that, check out Find a Way Outdoors calls. Cause I mean, like I said, I've used them last year and everything else. So they work great for me. I like them. I'm not a professional caller by any means, but I think I sound like a fucking turkey, and I killed some birds with it. So it definitely did its job. So
Well, I appreciate it.
yeah, dude,
That's awesome. Like I said, that's why I do it. I enjoy seeing what everybody else can do with them, and I really do appreciate the kind words. They mean a lot more than what I can express. So
absolutely. Yeah. Good luck out there. I appreciate it.
yeah, thanks.